Hey guys, it's Loida. Wanted to make this video on a subject that I don't think I've ever made a video on, and that is working with buyers. Now, my team and I mostly focus on listings, but here and there we will get some buyers. And there's always been this perception, right? Or at least for me, and people told me, oh yeah, you never want to work with buyers because they just waste your time and they take forever, and it's better to get listings because you have control of everything. And yes, that's true. However, for those of you out there who do happen to have a lot of buyers, or maybe those of you who here and there come across some buyers, you want to make sure that you're effective with your time and that everything is done smoothly and no one wastes their time, whether it's you or the person that's looking to buy or whatever it is. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys a few tips of things that you guys can do to have a better use of your time and hopefully speed the process so that you don't feel like you're out with your buyer every weekend showing houses and it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 months, I don't know, even up to a year from some stories that people have told me that they had with their agents. So here it goes. So let's say you do have a buyer that you're working with. One of the first things that I ask is, okay, have you already been pre-qualified or pre-approved? No, you haven't? Okay, that is the first thing that you're going to want to do, because based on that, then we'll be able to look for homes that meet your criteria, at least in the price range. Because obviously you don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. There's no point in us looking at homes that you don't qualify for and then you get excited for a home that you can't even buy. So that's the first thing. Get the buyer pre-qualified. Now, once they have been pre-qualified, if they're serious, because I've had those buyers that tell me, yeah, you know what, I want to buy. I send them to the lender. They never submit their paperwork. So that shows me that they're not really motivated or interested in purchasing a house, because if they really were, they would make sure that they submitted everything that was required in order to get pre-approved, pre-qualified. So let's say you do have the buyer or they have been pre-qualified. The next step is that I set up a time to meet with them for about an hour, and we take a look at everything that's currently in the market. I make sure I take notes exactly on what it is that they're looking for, whether it's 1 floor, 2 floors, what cities they're looking for, the price ranges, what's the most they're willing to give, how many beds, baths, what's important to them. I make sure I note it all down. And once I have noted all down with them, we'll take a look on the MLS. If I go over to their home or we meet at a Starbucks, I'll have my laptop with me and we'll all look at everything that's currently in the market. Why? Because I want them to see what I'm seeing. And obviously, if you have a buyer, they're ultimately the ones that are going to decide where they want to live. So you should never be pressuring them and telling them, oh, this is the house. And it's funny because I've had friends that tell me that they had agents that told them, this is the house. They saw like 10 houses, and according to their agent, every house was the one that they should buy. So definitely never pressure your buyer into wanting to sign the contract or put in an offer. If it's not for them or they don't feel comfortable, don't say, hey, you should do this one now. However, aside from that, so that's what I do. I'll meet with them. We'll look at everything. So let's say from everything that we look at, there's about 10 or 15 that they're interested. Then we make the list of all the homes and I tell them, okay, you know what? Drive around all of these, because that's going to narrow down the search. Many times they'll drive around and see, I saw that home was next to the train track. But because they drove around, I didn't have to schedule a time with an agent or take time off my day to go show them just to find that out when we got there. So that saves everyone time. So by them driving around each home that they might potentially be interested, it saves you time at the end, because after they do that, they come back to me and they say, hey, Loida, you know what? I drove around all the neighborhoods that we had picked. And yeah, from the list of 15 that we had, there's only 5 that I'm really interested in. Okay, 5, great. So taking those 5, now I can go ahead and make appointments with the other agents or schedule showings to make sure that I take them and we can see the homes from inside. And that just narrows it down. Some, they'll go inside and be like, oh, you know what? I don't really like this house. Or maybe there's one that's like, this is the one. So usually from those 5, they'll narrow down to 3. And then it'll narrow down to 2, 1, or whatever it is. But usually when you get to that point, they've already set their heart on something that they really like, and that's when they're pretty much ready to put in an offer. So by this time, you haven't really wasted much of your time, neither you have or they, because the only time that they did take was to drive around the neighborhoods, but that was to their benefit, you know, and also to yours, because you didn't have to worry about driving and wasting your time, and then it turns out that they didn't like the home because it was next to a train track, or maybe it's next to a hospital, whatever it is. So it makes everything so much easier, smoother, and more time efficient. So just to recap, first you want to make sure that your buyer is pre-qualified. After that, set up a meeting with them for about an hour. Take a look at everything that's currently in the market so that they can see what you're seeing. You know, you're not going to BS them and tell them, oh yeah, you know, I found these homes, or, you know, I have a pocket listing, I don't know, whatever it is. But everything that you see, they should see. That way they feel comfortable and confident that you're not being sketchy or shady, or you maybe have a friend, or maybe yourself, you have a listing that you want to shove on them to buy just so you could double end it. And after you guys have met up for about an hour, taking a look at everything, have them drive around the neighborhoods, then get back to you which ones they want to pursue, and then you can go ahead and schedule showings, and then from there you can decide whether they want to submit any offers or continue holding off because absolutely nothing out there was what they liked or to their taste. So there you go, guys. Hopefully this helps you out there, especially if you're working with buyers. Trust me, it will save you so much time, especially because, you know, you're not just setting up times where they tell you, hey, I want to go see this. Okay, let's go. No, you're telling them, okay, go ahead, drive around. If you like it, let me know. If not, we're not going to waste our time. Because in the end, you don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. And we want to make sure that we end up getting you a house that you like and you're comfortable with. So there you go, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.